Hey gang, what's up everybody? Hope you're all doing well. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Thanks so much for joining me for another one of our live stream hangouts. These are always fun. It's been a while since we've done one of these. I think it's been about a month, give or take, right? So I wanted to get on here and see what everybody's up to. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I'm going to try to turn this up a little bit here. See if I could crank it up a little bit more than the way it's cranked up. Let me know how that is, if that audio is okay or not. I don't want to be clipping into the red here. Hope everybody is doing well. Happy Monday to all of yous. We're on both channels tonight. We're at Home Recording Made Easy, as well as Mixing Music Analog, because we got information for both of you. We got a brand new course that just got released today. We got new training that's coming up. New videos coming up on both channels. Some really cool things. And then, as always, I like to hang out with you guys and talk about your studios and whatever you guys want to talk about. So let's get into the chat and see who's here. And if you're hanging out, welcome. Get into the chat, start asking questions, whatever you want to know. And we'll hang here for a bit and see what's going on as always. So David SG is here. Thank you, brother. How are you, Dave? Hope you're doing well. Jamie's here. And James D. Cooler's here. Hey, brother, how you doing, James? Jimmy Farmer, good to see you, my friend. Jamie Hall's here. Nice. Hey, Jamie, how are you? Keyboard the Wave. That's cool. I like the keyboard. What's going on, man? I like that name. Keyboard the Wave is here. And it looks like we got more people here, but not everybody's chatting in, and that's totally cool. So, our big news for today, doesn't matter what channel you're watching this on, but it's probably more relatable to the Home Recording Made Easy audience. Brand new course just released today, Mixing Made Easy Volume 4, the battle of the plugins. Stock plugins versus third-party plugins. If you're on my email list, you would have gotten an email today. If you didn't open it yet, you should probably go do that. It's 50% off today. Get the course at 50% off. Brand new course. Awesome tune we're going to mix together. And the whole point of that course is I mix the same song 2 times in a row from start to finish. First time only using stock plugins that come with every DAW. Second time through using a bunch of third-party plugins, stuff from Universal Audio and Slate Digital and Solid State Logic and I think Fab Filter, and there's probably some others in there that I'm missing. And along with that, we have another mixing contest where we're giving away some really cool prizes by Solid State Logic, Slate Digital, Kit plugins, and Real Phones, the software for the headphones, different room environments in your headphones. So you guys can get involved with the mixing contest. The mix submissions are due by the end of March. It's all on the website. Just go check it out. I think Dave's already thrown the link in there. When you go purchase the course, you will scroll halfway down the page. You'll see a button that talks about the mixing contest information. That'll bring you to another page, and the whole thing is laid out for you, what the mixing contest is. We have 3 prize packs we're going to give away. And yeah, it's going to be really cool. So I got a bunch of cool stuff from Solid State Logic to give you guys. So go check out Mixing Made Easy Volume 4. It's a really cool course. If you're always interested in, you know, does stock plugins sound how much different than third-party plugins, and is one better than the other and all that stuff? Well, I do a live comparison for you on the same song so you can hear the differences and then have fun mixing the song for yourself and maybe winning some cool studio gear. So Dave's putting all those in the chat. Thank you, Dave, so much. So go check that out. 50% off today. Go do it. There's a coupon code right on the homepage there. You can see what it is and you'll take 50% off, and that's a killer course. Let's see. Anybody have any questions here? Higher Ground says, any new toys? The only new toy in here is the Flock audio, the Flock Patch XT. The install video that David, SJ, and myself did goes live tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday, yeah? Yeah, tomorrow. So you'll see what I think was about a 45-minute video of us doing the whole install process and talking you guys through that. That's tomorrow. So definitely check that out. That's brand new. I'm still working with it. It's really cool. I've done a couple of updated you know, short little posts on Instagram and stuff talking about the flock as I've been working with it. And so far, so good, man. I haven't been able to break it. I haven't been able to crash the software. It just works. And actually, it makes things very, very convenient. You get kind of spoiled when you don't have to, you know, patch and unpatch a bunch of stuff. It's a really cool technology, and it works rather well. Probably better than I thought it was going to work, but it's still fairly new. I've only done a handful of projects with it, so it hasn't been road tested, if you will, for very long, but that's what we're going to continue to do. So yeah, so that's a new piece of gear. The other new piece of gear that's here is the SSL Bus Plus. We're going to do a video on that probably in the next few weeks. I'm just getting used to that. That's a pretty involved piece of gear. I mean, there's so many things that thing can do. It's almost it almost seems like it's overkill. But I mean, it could sound any way you want it to sound, and it sounds really great. And I don't know, I would be hard pressed to have seen any other bus compressor by any manufacturer that has that much flexibility in one single unit. Maybe there is by somebody, but I don't know who it is. That thing can do so much. It's actually crazy. It's crazy. So that's the other new piece of gear. So we got two, the Flock and the Bus Plus. Pardon me. Let's see. Jamie says, have you tried the Lynx Aurora converters yet? Nope. Haven't tried them. I know of them. I've never used any of their stuff. I really have no plan to. I have the Antelope Galaxy 64 converter, and they're fine. So I have no reason to try them. But I hear they make really good stuff. I just have never used any of their stuff. So I couldn't tell you whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. I'd be surprised if they weren't any good. But I have absolutely no experience with them. None at all, unfortunately. Richard is here from Lee Acres, Florida. Hey, man, it must be nice out there. It was 14 degrees here on the East Coast. I bet you it was, what, 75 down where you are, probably? Must be nice. Great to have you. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Go ahead and put anything you want to say or anything you want to talk about or any kind of questions in the chat. Now would be the time to do it while you're going over to checking out Mixing Made Easy Volume 4, right? That's what you should be doing. Hey, Richard. Richard says, I have a home studio, but I have no analog gear. What do you suggest I get first? For analog gear, start on the master bus and work your way backwards. If you're going to do anything with analog, start on the master bus. So something like a good master bus compressor where your whole mix could run through it, or compressor EQ combo, or some kind of an all-around color box like an SSL Fusion or the Neve master bus transformer, something like that. Something that all your whole mix is going to run through it. That's going to give you the most bang for buck when you're starting off with analog gear. It's going to have the most impact. So that's what I would start with. So a good master bus compressor, EQ if you can swing it, and or some kind of a color box that'll have some saturation, maybe some stereo widening, things like that. Those would be the things that I would recommend if you were going to start down the analog path. That's what I would do. Hope that helps. Dave, will you be redoing Mixing Made Easy Volume 3 at some point? That's funny that you say that. As a matter of fact, I just started it today. Just started the first video, so it's going to be a while. So yes, Mixing Made Easy Volume 3. Now, what Mixing Made Easy Volume 3 used to be back in 2015 or 16, whenever that first one was done. That was one of my first, it was actually was the third course I ever did. I did 1 and 2 and then 3. And at the time, I did it with another engineer at the time, where we had 2 engineers, myself and someone else, would mix the same song. He used stock plugins. I was using third-party plugins at the time. That was cool. It was okay at the time. It's probably at that time and still has been one of the least popular courses on my website for a variety of reasons. It's old. It really wasn't put together as well as all my new courses are put together. So I decided that when I replace it, instead of doing me and another engineer, which I originally was going to do, I thought, because I've also done that with other people in the past. I've had guest people do some training on my website and stuff, and those courses never do well. And it's just because I think the reason why people come by my training courses, they want my training courses. They don't want to see a bunch of other people teaching my stuff. At least that's the feeling that I got. So anyway, so I decided that Mixing Made Easy Volume 3, which I just started today, is going to be kind of like what Mixing Made Easy Volume 4 is, except we're comparing analog to plugins. So it's the same thing. Same song mixed twice, different song than the course we just put out. Obviously, completely different song. But we're going to mix it all analog. And then I'm going to mix it all in the box using all the plugin equivalents to whatever you use analog and try to make it a one-to-one comparison. So for example, if I'm using an SSL console, we're going to use an SSL 4000E channel strip. If I use, I don't know, the 1176 on a vocal, we're going to use the 1176 on the vocal in the box. If I use a Pultec on the stereo bus, we're going to use the Pultec in the box. We're going to try to make it as one-to-one as possible and compare the two technologies on the same song. That's what Mixing Made Easy Volume 3 is going to be when that comes out, and that will come out sometime in April, I think. Yeah, sometime in April. I'm not sure if it'll be beginning, middle, or end, but sometime in April. I just started that course today. I mean, only just started the intro video. I haven't even set the session up on the desk yet, so I'm working through it. So that will be Mixing Made Easy Volume 3. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, and 4 completely redone in 2025. And then I'm going to jump on EQ Made Easy, Compression Made Easy, Parallel Compression, and Mastering. Those will be the next 4 courses that completely get rebuilt on the website. That are all the old ones are going to be replaced with brand new courses. And that'll probably take me till the end of the year, to be totally honest. So there's a lot of training courses that are going to be rebuilt and refreshed and, you know, packaged in a better way on Home Recording Made Easy in the rest of this year, 2025. And hopefully I'll get through most of them. That's my goal. We'll have to see. But thanks for the question. So yes, it's coming soon. Hey Blues, what's happening? Hey brother, are you going to do a video on the SSL Alpha? I don't have the SSL Alpha. I have the SSL, whatever they call it, the 18. The video just came out. I still have it in the back. They have no plans of selling the Alpha, so I won't be doing a video on that. Basically, that's just an extension to give their new interface more I/O expansion. So there would be no reason for me to do a video on it because I'm not a recording studio, I'm a mixing studio, so I would really have no reason to do that. But yeah, I'm sure it's great. I mean, if you like the SSL 18, the Alpha would be a nice extension for that at a pretty reasonable price. But yeah, I don't have I have no plans to do any videos for that. But if something changes, I'll let you guys know. You have a bunch of modular, and the Alpha with its DC coupled outputs could be a game changer. Yeah, you would know more about it than I do. I haven't really looked at it, only because, again, I have absolutely no use for that in my studio, so I'm sure it's a wonderful piece of gear. If it's got the SSL name on it, it's not going to be crap. It's going to be a good piece of gear. So yeah, so I wouldn't be hesitant to get it, but I don't know enough about it. I'm sure there'll be guys all over YouTube, all the usual suspects. All those channels will do the videos. Because I think the Alpha it just came out. Like the interface came out first and the Alpha wasn't even in production yet. And I think it just might have hit the street just now or just in the last week or so. So I think they're just becoming available. So Jamie says, have you seen the West Audio has come out with a new VA3A compressor? Would love to see a demo on it on your channel. What's the name of that VA3A compressor? Are you talking about the multiband, the 500 series unit, or do they have a full-on rack unit VA3A? I probably won't get that piece of gear because I don't have access to it, Jamie. West Audio is a difficult company to get a brand new piece of gear from that's just been released for a demo unit. I tried to get the Tube EQ for a while, was unsuccessful. I highly doubt I'm going to get that unit in here. If they send it to me, we would love to do a video on it and check it out because I love West Audio gear. But I don't see that coming here. I just don't think I'll be able to get it, to be honest. But I'm sure it's going to be great. They only make great stuff. So we'll check it out. If it ever shows up, we'll check it out. Hey, William Roberts, what's up, buddy? What do you think of the Valhalla Vintage Reverb? Don't use it. I know lots of people that have the Valhalla stuff and love it. I don't have any of their plugins, none of them. Not that for any other reason is I got so many reverbs by so many different companies. It's just I just don't need another one. Between all the Liquid Sonics and the Universal Audio and the Fab Filter and the Slate Digital and I mean, that's only 4 of them off the top of my head. And I think I even got more than that. I'm sure I got 2 or 3 other companies worth of plugins, reverbs. Oh, the Wave stuff. And I'm sure there's others that, you know, that's 5 that I know of right off the top of my head. So I've never used it, but I've seen people do videos on it and it sounds like it's really cool. Is it any different than the stuff that I already have? Probably not. It's probably equally as good, or maybe it's better, but I have no reason to get it. Unless the company were to reach out to me and want me to do a demo on it, but I don't even know that I would do that, to be honest, because it's already been done by a million YouTube channels and I have no real use for it personally. So don't know much about it other than it's probably really good. James says, I still think about getting a flock, but I have a rookie question. Go ahead, man. What about the mic pre's and mics? Just an idea. What if I route my mics to the flock and then add preamps to the chain in software? Yeah, you can do that. I mean, that's one way to do it. You can add, you can do that. You can do that. Yeah. Yeah, you can do exactly that. You can, I think now they have don't they have like a new, again, I'm not up on all their new gear. Then they just put something out at NAMM that has XLRs, like preamps or something that somehow works with the patch bay. I don't remember, but yeah, you can audition different microphones. You can swap pre's in and out. You can do all that stuff. That's what makes the flock so cool, is that you can do that kind of stuff, right? You can have a chain and you can, plug your microphone into your preamp on your interface, right? And then you can have your patch bay and you can have all your hardware pre's lined up and you can just audition, drop them in, drop them out, turn them on, turn them off, all at the click of a button. It's actually pretty insane. And once you learn their shortcuts, like I even got a little sticky note here of their shortcuts so I can get them memorized. Everything is just like command, click, boom, 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 boom. You can hear stuff instantly, no lag in the audio, no pops or clicks in the audio. It's really smooth. It's great for auditioning preamps or whatever, EQs, compressors, any kind of hardware. It is a brilliant system. It's an expensive system, no doubt, but it is a time saver and it just makes things easier, right? It's easier. A manual patch bay is not very difficult. It's nothing to break down inside of a manual patch bay, but you don't have that kind of flexibility. So far, again, and I don't see how you start working with something like a flock for any period of time. Figure out really quickly how it could benefit you in your workflow. I don't know how you go from that and then go backwards to a manual patch bay. It would seem like going back to the Stone Age. I mean, you don't really realize it until you sit in front of one of these things. And David will contest to it. He was only here for a half a day when we did it. And once we were kind of swapping some gear out, he was like, holy shoot, this thing is awesome. And it is. It is. It's that cool. So it is a good system thus far. Again, longevity is the only thing that I worry about. Well, not just with the flock, but really any piece of hardware, that has that kind of technology. It's just like having, a piece of a really good compressor or a really good whatever. You worry after a while, at what point does it go in for maintenance, and that kind of a thing. I have no inside scoop or anyone's ever told me they've ever had a flock break down or anything like that. I've never heard anything like that. That's the only thing that would concern me, is that if it goes down or when it goes down, what do? Your whole system's down. I mean, not your whole system. You just couldn't patch a bunch of gear. And I guess you could get the manual patch base back out and reset everything back up. But that would be a real drag, man. But on the other hand, I think Flock's been around about 10 years now, I think Darren told me, or 10 or 11 years. So they're not a brand new company on the block with this brand new thing that hasn't been tested. They got products out there now for 10 years. And so that's good to know that the stuff's been road tested. And if there was a real problem, I mean, I could be wrong, but if there was a real problem with the Flock audio stuff, if it's been out in the market for 10 years, and if there was some internal, like there's a problem here with longevity and reliability, believe me, it would be all over YouTube by now. It would be, like some of the other companies that we've talked about on this channel before that have some kind of, what we'll just say, inconsistent quality. We've talked about that stuff. It's all over YouTube. So because Flock has been around, if they were only around a year or 6 months, and they have a brand new product that hasn't been out there long enough, then you'd maybe be a little bit more concerned. But because it's been out there long enough and you really don't hear, and believe me, I've looked on YouTube and forums, I've tried to find some of the dirty dirt on Flock to see, is there any real complaints about it? And the only 2 complaints I ever hear about it is the fan noise, which you're going to see in tomorrow's video, and Dave will tell you if he's still here. I know Dave, I think, said he may have to take off, but if he's still here, he'll tell you. We tested the fan noise. It's not, I don't know what everybody's complaining about. That I hear a lot. The fans are super loud, this, that, and the other thing. I'm telling you, we had the fan on the highest setting running continuous. And if you're standing right next to it and you put your ear close to the unit, you can hear the fan. But aside from that, I mean, I'm sitting about, I don't know, 2 arms lengths away, 6 feet, 7 feet away from that unit. I don't hear it in the room. It's certainly not a problem for me when I'm mixing. Like I said in the video that you'll see tomorrow, that if you had a workstation set up where maybe your Flock unit was right next to you and you were trying to record with a condenser microphone, an acoustic guitar, or vocals, and you were right next to it, would the fan get picked up by that microphone? Yeah, it would. But you can, in their software, in the application, you can shut the fan off, or you could turn it on a lower setting. So if you were going to record in that example, I would just turn the fan off while I was recording and then turn it back on. It's so, in other words, I was really nervous when I first researched the Flock, because a lot of people said that to me. Oh, the fans are going to be loud, and the fans and the fans. And I thought, oh, we turn this thing on, it's going to sound like, like a helicopter in the room. I thought it was going to be super loud. It's not. And you'll see that tomorrow. I actually stuck my iPhone up to it and hit it with the dB meter. And I think at its highest setting, it was running at like, I want to say negative 38 dB or something. It was below ambient noise in the room. It's a non-issue. So that was the only thing. And then the other thing that you will tend to hear from time to time from people is they say that because I think it's got VCAs in it, so it colors the sound, or people think it colors the sounds. I don't notice that, to be totally honest with you. I didn't do the Colt Caparoon A/B it like he did, and he said there was no difference in sounds. I didn't go to the great lengths that he went to, but I saw his video on it. If it colors the sounds, I don't notice it. Now, the people that say that, I know we're on a rant about Flock. I hope this is good information. I'll get to the chat, don't you worry. Give me 1 second, though. I got to grab something off my desk here. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. The other thing that some people will say about the Flock is that it colors the sound. And they'll bring up products like, I guess, New Wolf Audio put out a new thing that does the same kind of thing Flock does, but with a different technology, something with relays, mechanical relays. And that doesn't color the sound, apparently. I don't know anything about their products other than I've heard of it. I could tell you I don't hear a difference in it coloring the sounds. Some people will say it does. I don't notice that. Some other people that have done videos on the flock say they don't notice that. But then I guess there are some people who's made videos that say they do notice that. So again, I don't know. But here's the thing that I tell, and again, the people that talk to me about it or who have talked to me, when I ask, and I've gotten 2 or 3 emails like this, and the very first question I ask them is, oh, have you tried the flock yourself? Do you have that experience? And what do you think the answer was 100 out of 100 times when I asked people that? What do you think the answer was? The answer was always, no, I never tried it myself, but I heard. Which again, we talk about on this channel a lot when we're talking about gear. People like to get on the internet and talk about stuff like they have firsthand experience. And then when you start digging in, you find out they have no experience with the product that they're talking about. But they heard it second or third hands, which again may be valid, but they have no real world experience. And I said, okay, so you're emailing me telling me that I shouldn't have gotten the product because it colors the sounds, but you have absolutely no experience in that statement, and you admittedly have no experience. And then I kindly say, you really shouldn't do that. You know, don't talk like you know what you're talking about when you really don't. Because you can, you may be spreading on the internet. If you're in forums and doing that, you're spreading misinformation. Now, if you have experience with it and you don't like a product for some reason or whatever, but have at it. I mean, but try to have the experience. Anyway, people say it colors the sound. I don't notice that. But here's the other thing I think me and Dave were talking about this last weekend when he was here. Here's the thing about when people say it colors the sound because it does with VCAs. Let's say it does color the sound in a subtle way. Let's say that for 1 second. Okay. So everything that I do in this studio, and then anyone that's watching this video who has any kind of outboard gear outside of their DAW, audio comes out of my DAW. What is the first thing that it runs to outside of my converters, which are pretty transparent? It's a console. Guess what this console does? Colors the sound. Then that console audio goes through, I don't know, an absurd amount of different pieces of hardware. Some tracks go through multiple pieces of hardware. What do you think all that hardware does? It colors the sound. Then all of that stuff goes through a master bus of an EQ, a compressor, the Neve NBT, saturation circuits, tape machine emulators, blah, 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 blah. And guess what all of that stuff does? It colors the sound. So every single thing that the audio hits in this room colors the sound. So and again, I don't hear it, but even if the flock audio somehow, because of the technology inside, there's no conversion inside of that box, but they do something with VCAs. I don't know all the nitty gritty of what it does, but this is what people tell me. I don't even know if half the shit is true. I got to get Darren on the live stream to see what's really going on inside that box. But let's say it's VCA and it is doing something to the sound in a very subtle way. After it runs through all of this stuff in the room, do you think you would ever notice that difference? You would never notice that difference. So to me, unless it's coloring the sound in some kind of a bad way that when I hear it, I don't like what I'm hearing. If that were the case, I would be like, right on, man, let's investigate this. Aside from that, which I don't get, I don't understand the arguments about it colors the sound. I don't get it. If you're running your audio through a mile through of analog equipment that all colors the sound, what is that flock doing in the big scheme of things? You see what I'm saying? And again, I know that's a real simplistic way to look at this, and there'll be some gearhead out there that'll write me some nasty comment that I'll have to delete, that I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm telling you, I don't understand technically everything that I'm talking about when it comes to some of the inner workings of this stuff. But what I'm just saying is, I think that's just an argument that people like to say on the internet. It's just like the fan's too loud. But did they actually stand in the room and listen to the fan? Everyone that's contacted me all said no, they never even been in the room with a flock piece of gear. Well, then what are you complaining about? You haven't even been in the room with it. You've never put your hands on it. How do you know that it does what you're claiming that it does? Same thing with coloring the sound. But I'm sure there's someone out there that might have used the flock that did some kind of scientific test, and maybe it did color the sound in a subtle way that they didn't like, and they decided to go to another product. Hey, that's totally fair. But what I'm saying is, I have not heard that myself. So unless all of a sudden I start hearing something like that, that's what I'm sticking with. And that's not to say that the competitive product isn't a good product. It may be a great product, and maybe it is a different technology and it does something with relays, and maybe that's a great product too. I don't know. I know Wolf Audio makes very high-end gear, so it wouldn't surprise me if they made a product that was really great in the patch bay world, but I've never tried it. So because I've never tried it and never put my hands on it, I'm not going to say things about it that I don't know about. You asked me, James, that's the rant. But I would say to you, go get a flock for your studio. I know all the stuff you have. You could get one of their smaller systems that would work really nice in your studio and would really help you from a producer, engineering, musician. You know what I mean? So, hi, Robert Miller. Do you do any hardware side chaining? Curious, thanks. Not really. Not really. I know the Bus Plus has some side chaining abilities in there. We might test that out, but I don't really do that, to be honest. Victor. Hi, Victor. How are you, my friends? Reno, Nevada. Hey, man. Oh, you're very, very welcome. Thanking you for all you do, Uncle Dave. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for watching. If you don't watch, Uncle Dave doesn't come here and make videos. That's just the way it works. Also, do you tend to add a little room or ambience to digitally simulated guitar tracks to make them sound more natural? When you say digitally simulated guitar tracks, you mean like a plugin? Like something like that? I add a little room ambience to every single track that on my desk. I do it with a hardware unit. I do it with a spring reverb by Audioscape, which is hardwired into the board. And every single track gets just a touch. You don't even really hear it. It's more of a felt thing across the whole track to give me a little, and it makes things sound a little more natural. It kind of puts everything in its own kind of puts the whole band in its own space, so to speak, but not just specifically on digital guitar tracks like plugins, but on everything. At least that's how I do it. Let's see. Let me keep scrolling down. Hey, George, what's going on? Do you like the Trinoff Law Remote? Yeah, I do. I like it, man. Is it worth getting for their system? It is. Well, here's the thing. The Law Remote, I'm only using about half of what it's really capable of doing. The Law Remote is great if you have multiple. Well, there's two things you can do with the Law Remote that I like. If you have multiple presets, if you're using your Trinoff, if you're using the Nova, not the old unit, not the ST2 Pro, but the new unit, the Nova, where you can set up different presets, where if you wanted to cycle through different room correction presets, that can all be done right from the buttons on the Nova, which is really cool. The other thing the Nova can do that the ST2 Pro really couldn't do, at least not easily, is it can have multiple speaker setups. So you can have your mains and a set of shitty speakers, and you can turn a sub on and off. All of that can be done from the Law Remote as well as I use it as a master volume. I leave my console kind of right up at 12 noon, and then I dial everything in with the Law Remote. So if you're going to do speaker switching, Law Remote is great. If you're going to cycle through presets, like I said, for different room correction profiles, that it's really good for. So yeah, I'm only really using it for, to be totally honest, master volume. I don't have a bunch of presets that I switch in and out of because I'm always sitting at the mix position, but where something like having different presets could be helpful. If you were in a control room, or let's say you had the classic, leather couch behind you that the artist was sitting on listening to the mix, you can do a special profile room correction with the Trinoff at the seated position in the back, so they can get the benefit of all the room correction that you're getting from the sweet spot. You can switch the preset so the artist can hear it all the way it's supposed to be. Things like that, that would be really cool, and that's something the Law Remote would be very helpful with. And that's why I like it, but I only really use it for master volume because I don't have those presets. And I used to have multiple monitors that I would switch off of this, but now, because I'm so used to the way the Trinoff is, and I'm so confident in my mixes coming off my Focals, I don't even check them on multiple speakers anymore. I don't have to. The only thing that I will check the mix on is I have a Bluetooth. You can't see it on camera here, but right in front of me on the console, I have this little micro Bluetooth speaker that I'll quickly switch to just to make sure the vocal's not too loud, because that kind of simulates earbuds, you know what I mean? To make sure that with all the low end I got coming from the sub and from the focals, that my vocal's not poking through too much. And when I automate lead vocals, one of the little secrets I do is I'll automate when I'm listening to the mix on the Bluetooth, not on the mains. Just the lead vocal, just for that reason, to make sure it doesn't poke out too much. But aside from that, I don't switch speakers anymore. I don't need to. The trade-off is that good, and the mixes translate perfectly. And I've done enough testing, and I've had enough client feedback to know that. So yeah, so that's a long way of saying the law remote is great if you're going to use it for the reasons that I said. If you're not going to use it for any of the reasons, and you're just going to use it as a big volume control, you probably don't need it, depending on what you're using for your big volume control now. But it is a good system. Hope that helps. What is the difference in quality between the Buzz Plus, the plug-in, and the 500 series? Is a mix of all three in my chain a good place to be? You mean have all three of those in one mix in the chain, like the hardware, the plug-in, and the 500 series? Is that what you're saying? I wouldn't do that. But if you want to know what the quality difference is, that's a very subjective thing. Here's the difference. Here's what maybe you're new here because I don't recognize your name, Blue, but David and I did a video on this channel, I don't know, maybe a year ago, where we compared the bus compressor in the console to a plugin. Then we compared the bus compressor in the console to Dave's warm audio version of the bus compressor. Then Dave went home and sold that and bought the 500 series one that you're talking about, and we compared that to the one in the console. So you can go watch those videos and you can get the lowdown on that. What we haven't done is compared the Buzz Plus to that, because the Buzz Plus is that in the console, which is the same as the 500 series, but it's got so many more things it can do. So when you say a quality difference, the way I read that, correct me if I'm wrong, is you're saying which one sounds better. The Buzz Plus and the 500 series bus compressor is going to sound the same. The only difference is the Buzz Plus, you can get different sounds from it, where the 500 series is really just the classic SSL, bus compressor that we all know and love. The Buzz Plus is that with a bunch of added stuff to it, so it could sound like the more modern style one in the J series consoles, or the AWS console. It could sound, or the Duality console. It could sound like the one that's in this console. It could sound like the one that's in this console with an extra saturation circuit. It's a whole bunch of different things that are wrapped up in the one. So the most flexible is the Buzz Plus by a long shot. Is it any better than the one in there? Sound quality, it's going to be the same. It's just that it's going to be more flexible. And you'll have to go watch the video to know whether you think the plugin is equally as good. I can tell you that it's not, but a lot of people won't believe that. They have to go hear it for themselves. So you should go watch that video. Hey, Brad, where have I been? I've always been here, waiting for you to join. Welcome to the family, man. Hope you're doing well, brother. Good to see you. See who else is here. Techno Dad. Hey, Techno Dad, I think I just watched one of your videos, man. I forget what I watched. I could swear, Techno Dad, I was just on your channel not too long ago watching one of your videos. I don't know which one, but your name sounds familiar. What's up? Watch your videos on the UF1 and the UF8. I'm still on the fence about getting the UC1. Not sure I need it, but it might be a nice thing to get. I think the UC1 is the best controller of the bunch. If you like using the SSL channel strips, that thing is killer. That is the best channel strip plug-in controller I've ever used. It is exactly like using my console, if you're using their channel strip. Now, on the UC1, you can program now with their new software any plug into their controller, and it does work. I don't do that. I don't like that. I think that's very it's very clunky. It's not a great solution. Because you got to remember with each plugin, where did you program it, to what pot, and all that stuff. I don't like that. I don't like all that muscle memory. But I do like it when you're using their actual SSL native channel strip, and what you see on the screen is exactly what's in front of you on the controller. That really speeds up your workflow. So if you like working with their channel strips, that UC1 is way better to me than using the UF8 and the UF1. Although the UF1's cool, you can do the transport. You can do the transport on the UC1, but again, it's a little clunky. It's not as nice as having the big soft keys right here. And the UF8 is great for just the faders, but for everything else, it's kind of mediocre. So I've had them all. I've had the UF1. I still have one in the console. I've had several UF8s. I used to have them if you watch any of my old videos, we used to have a UF8 mounted right in the center section. It looked really cool. Got rid of it, never really used it. And I still have a UC1 in the back room that every so often when I'm doing a video for one of the channels, I might break it out. But yeah, they make all good stuff, but I think the UC1 to me is the most usable of the three. Because you use the if you like using the channel strips. If you're going to get it and try to program your 1176s and your LA2As and your Pultecs to it, you can do that. But to me, that is so unbelievably clunky, and you're better off just bringing up the plugin, using your mouse or your trackball and adjusting the plugin, at least in my opinion. But some people would disagree with that, and that's okay. Hey, Johnny Lipsham, how are you, brother? Good to see you. Make sure you go watch Johnny Lipsham's channel. He does a wonderful live stream every week. Simplified Songwriting, or Songwriting Simplified, I think it's called. And Johnny's what we call here like a real musician, like a guy that really knows what he's doing. Very well accomplished jazz musician, piano, bass, horns. The guy's like one of those weird people that actually plays all kinds of instruments and actually knows what he's doing and understands theory and song arrangement and all that stuff. So check out his channel because he does some really cool live streams around songwriting, which is usually way above my head and I can't understand half of what he's talking about, but he's good. Full rack on the Verymu unit. Oh, are you talking about the West Audio? You know, I haven't seen it. They want to send me one. Well, I'm sure David and I would be happy to come and test it out, but I'll be honest, I don't see it happening. We're not enough. We are not large enough of a YouTube channel for them to send me that kind of a unit. They won't do it. But if they ever wanted to, I'd be happy to try it. Would be happy to try it. Which unit would you recommend more? The West Audio NG Bus of the SSL Bus Plus or the SSL Bus Plus? Oh, man. Well, here's the thing. The West Audio NG Bus Compressor, I love. I've had it, I think it's one of the first pieces we bought when we built the studio. 4 years I've had that unit. And I primarily use it on drum bus. I don't use it as a master bus compressor, although it would be wonderful on the master bus. It is the SSL bus compressor. It's a VCA style stereo SSL on steroids. That's what that is. Now, prior to the Bus Plus coming out, I would say the West Audio all day long. Over the regular old G Series 500 series, I'd say the West Audio every single day, 10 times on Sunday. Now, the Bus Plus is a little bit different because the Bus Plus can do so much more. But here's what the Bus Plus doesn't have in it. It doesn't have the iron circuit, the transformer circuit in it. At least I don't think it does. It has a saturation circuit. Does it have a transformer circuit? It's got so much stuff in it. I haven't familiarized myself enough with it yet. But that's where the West Audio really shines. And the fact the West Audio is digitally controlled with a plugin. That's the other thing the Bus Plus doesn't have. Now, if there was any unit that SSL was going to make digitally controlled with a plugin, if they were going to jump into that into the pool, that Bus Plus would have been the one I would have told them to start with. That unit would really benefit from a digitally controlled plugin. The problem is it would probably make that unit another $1,500. It may be way out of the price bracket for what they were trying to build it for. It may make that thing a $4,500 or a $5,000 compressor and not a $3,000 compressor. That would be my guess. But if there was ever an SSL product that needed digitally controlled that would really benefit, it would be that. And I gotta be honest, I haven't used it enough yet to say that I would buy that over the Wes Audio NG bus. I can't say that as I sit here right now because I've had the Wes Audio for so much longer and I know what it can do. The Bus Plus, I know what it can do. I just haven't done it all yet to be able to compare it. Either one of them is going to be wonderful. They're both about the same price. I would probably tell you, as I sit here today, the Wes Audio would inch it out by a hair. But you know what? A month from now, after we really use that Bus Plus, I might say the Bus Plus is just as good as the NG. I might say that. It wouldn't surprise me. I might even say it's even better because of feature XYZ that's not in the Wes Audio. But I can't say that here sitting here today because I don't have enough experience with it yet. And like I said a little earlier, as I went on my Flock Audio rants, I try to be very careful with gear recommendations and tell you these things unless I've actually experienced it. Even though I'm still only one guy's opinion, I don't want to talk about stuff and lean you in a direction when I can't 100% validate it for myself. Too many people online do that. They, like I said, they talk like they know, and most of them don't have a clue. So if you were saying we got to buy it today, what would I buy? I would say the Wes Audio. If you were buying it today. A month from now, I might tell you the SSL. But they're both great. I mean, you can't go wrong with either one. They're not going to be wildly different. You know, not like you're going to have one's way over here and one's way over here. No, they're going to be very close, and it's going to come down to a couple of features, one or the other, that you may need or like or want that the other one may or may not have. That would be it. That would be it. But the NG bus compressor is killer, man. It's killer. You're going to buy it this month. I don't know, man. Let us know what you end up buying. Hey, Dave, what do you think of the Apogee Symphony desktop? Never used it. I'm thinking about getting one. Love from the Bahamas. Ooh, nice and warm out there. Again, I wish I can tell you the Apogee Symphony is awesome. Run out and buy it. But as I've said now a couple of times, and I don't say stuff about stuff I don't have experience with. The only thing I could say about Apogee is they have a reputation of making really high-end stuff. But I will also tell you I've never used one of their pieces of gear. For no other reason as I never had the opportunity or the reason to try it. So I have no experience with it. I wish I could help you. Buy it from a place that you can return it if you don't like it. But I don't know that if you did some searching around, I don't know how much bad press you'd hear about Apogee. Probably not much. They make really good stuff from what I'm told. But I'm sure there'll be somebody out there that will knock that piece of gear and say it sucks and it's this and it's that. And then you'll find out they've never even used it before. Pardon me. Hi, William. Do you set up a 3D soundstage by creating a front, middle, and back to the soundstage? Is that kind of separating the men from the boys thing? Yeah. I don't know if it's separating the men from the boys thing. But yeah, I look at a mix very similarly to if I'm mixing a live band and I'm looking at a band on stage. That's where I kind of start in my head. It doesn't always end up that way, but yes. A 3D soundstage in depth in a mix is wildly important. You say men from the boys. Most beginner mixers don't understand what that is. They understand it conceptually, but they can't hear it yet because their ears are not tuned into it. And they don't know how to create it. They know how to think about it, You know, you're looking at a 3D soundstage and you want some elements in the back of the mix, some on the front of the mix. And now with Dolby Atmos, you want it all over the place. But most beginner mixers don't know how to achieve that, and they don't know how to get that, to make that happen. And most of that, not all of it, but a lot of that's done with compression and the way you use compression and things like reverb. And there's other little tricks, EQ too, but it's mostly a compression thing. So it's certainly an important thing to learn how to do if you want to continue to elevate and get your mixes to sound, you know, more high level, maybe more pro-like, for lack of a better word. And that'll be the kind of stuff that we talk about. That's a nice segue, David SJ. Watch this, David, what I'm about to do. He's already knows what I'm going to do. So one of the other things I didn't tell you guys about, and this is a great way to segue to this. So there is coming, again, if you're not on the homerecordingmadeeasy.com email list, you should be, for a variety of reasons. But for one reason is because just the other day, an email came out. I am in the process of developing and getting close to being finished of a new mixing training website for more high-level mixing, things like 3D soundstage, advanced level mixing, not beginner stuff, not home recording made easy stuff, advanced level mixing. The name of that website is mixingacademy.net. I'm sure Dave will put it in the chat in a minute. Go check out mixingacademy.net. There's a video on there. There's a little homepage there of what it's going to be. It's not open yet. And there is a wait list. There's an email list if you want to be a part of this exclusive high-level training. It's going to be a very small group, no more than 15 members at a time. And we're going to be doing things that you're talking about. We're going to talk about these more advanced mixing techniques that I don't show in my other courses because those are more beginner intermediate. This is more advanced. We're going to be talking about things like 3D sound stages and depth in the mix and a whole bunch of other topics like that. So if you want to get on the waiting list and you want to watch the little video that I put together of what the mixingacademy.net is going to be about, go check that out and get on the waiting list. I've already got about 50 people on the waiting list. It'll be a first come, first serve when it opens up. The first 15 people that sign up, you're going to be the ones that are going to be a part of this exclusive group of mixing training. Check it out. You're going to dig it. And yes, you'll learn all about the 3D soundstage, among other things. That website and the membership will go live sometime in either the beginning of May or the end of May of this year. But if you want to learn more about it, go check out mixingacademy.net, N-E-T, and read all about it. And Dave's throwing all kinds of links in there. Thank you, David. Next is Uncle Day, Joe T here from Rochester. Hey, Joe. Great to be here. Great to have you here. Thank you. Let's see. Richard says, I'd like some help with my kick when mixing drums. The result I'm looking for is a tight bass that cuts through the mix. I want you to feel it in your chest. Even after using compression, it clips. Okay, so, well, there's a bunch of things you can do. You're looking for a tight bass drum, right? You said kick drum. That hits you in the chest, right? There's a bunch of ways. It depends. The whole. I'm going to give you a couple of things you can try. It all depends on the way the kick drum was recorded and what you're starting with. But one of the number one tricks to that is using samples and layering multiple samples. Again, we'll be talking about that at the mixingacademy.net. But one of the things when we mix drums is we have the original source. This happens on kick and snare in almost every mix, kick in particular. And then I'll have 3 or 4 layered kick samples on top of that, enhancing that kick to give you that impact that you're talking about. There's also some plug-in tricks you can do to help enhance that, and there's some hardware that I have that enhances that as well. We'll be talking all about that, but yeah, there's a bunch of different ways you can get a kick drum to sound like that. Samples are your friends in a case like that. Smashing it with a compressor is usually not the answer. Usually not the answer. It's rare that I do. Well, I'll always do a little bit of compression on a kick or on a drum bus that includes the kick, but I don't overcompress a kick drum at all. A lot of people think you got to smash the hell out of drums with compression to make them sound big. That's not true. It's the exact opposite. Parallel compression is a different thing. That's a different topic, but just the actual direct sources. Smashing the kick, the snare, the overheads, the rooms will not make your drums sound bigger. They will sound smaller. But again, that's for another training course. So that's what I would tell you. You got to have a good recorded kick to begin with. Use something like Slate Trigger or the equivalent and use samples to layer them together to build 4 or 5 samples with a really good kick. And you can blend that, and if you EQ it and compress it together right and sparingly, you can get a kick that will sound like what you're describing. You got it, James. Go buy that flock, brother. Tell him I sent you. When I got my M4 Mac Mini, people kept telling me the fan was too loud or it overheats. Really? I thought that thing didn't even have a fan in it. Does it have a fan in it? I don't know. I know there's a fan in my Mac Studio, and I've never heard it turn on. Maybe it is on all the time and I just don't hear it, but yeah, no, I know. I can't imagine a Mac Mini, any of the versions, have a fan that's too loud or overheats. That's really weird. I'm glad you shouldn't have those issues. You shouldn't have those issues. That's good to know. All right, man, James, go to sleep. Good night. Thanks for joining me, brother. I hope you have a great night. We'll talk to you soon. Hey, Daryl, how you doing? Have you heard of the K27 monitors? No, I don't think so. No. Who makes them? Is that the name of the company? K27? I've never heard of them. Where are they made out of? Like what country? That's news to me. News to me. Okay, make sure you get to homerecordingmadeeasy.com. Get your mixing Made Easy Volume 4, Battle of the Plugins. Come on now. You're going to dig that course. No one's ever put out a course like that comparing stock plugins and third-party plugins. One mix right after the other. It's never been done. Go do that. You're going to love the course. And you get it 50% off. Go do it. You'll enjoy it. Write me an email and tell me how you like it. Thanks, Dave. I have 2 live shows per week. Oh, cool. Yeah, Songwriting Simplified. I knew it was called something like that on Wednesdays. And you try to simplify things. Sunday night is the Studio One focus, right? So make sure you go check out Johnny Lipsham. Johnny Lipsham's a Studio One 7 or Studio One in general aficionado and a great songwriter and musician. So you'll learn a lot over there. So go check that out. I stop in every once in a while and see what he's up to. I was there last week when you were doing your songwriting course. It was pretty cool. Johnny knows what he's doing. I wish I had that talent. Feed less into low frequencies in the compressor and it won't clip. Or don't use compression. What makes you think you need to compress a kick drum? What YouTuber told you that you needed to do that on every single track? You're using compression to control transients in varying degrees, creating a 3D soundstage. Probably EQ2 plus reverb. Yeah. Sounds like creating a 3D soundstage is one of the most fun. It's fun, it's important, and you really gotta understand how to use those 3 tools: compression, EQ, and reverb. Right? That'll help. That will help with all of that to a degree, but it's mostly compression, which people don't realize. But if you check out, which course do I talk about that in? Mixing Made Easy Volume 2, I believe. In one of my courses, we talk about the 3D soundstage. Forget which one it is. I think it's number 2. But we're going to be talking more about that at the Mixing Academy. Don't you worry. So if you're interested, William, go check out the website, put your name on the waiting list, join the crew. You'll learn all about how we do that, not only in analog, but in the box. So and go watch the video. I'm not going to explain what the whole website's going to be about. I did a 7-minute video telling you exactly what it's going to be. But we're going to be working with different tools, different workflows, so on and so forth. And that's going to all be taken care of. Okay. Yes, it has a fan. Oh, your Mac Mini? Yeah, but you can't hear it, right? Like you said, you can't hear it. You can't hear that. No way. You can hear it if you have an ultra quiet control room. Okay. Okay, stick the computer in another room if it bothers you. That's the other thing about the flock too. Like I tell people, I mean, I have it in the rack here because I had the space, but you don't need to even have it in the same room. Put it in a closet. As long as your cables get to it, and if the fan bothers you, I don't know. I can't believe a fan on a Mac Mini would make you would drive anybody crazy enough to where it's going to disrupt them making great music. I don't buy that. But maybe you could hear it if you had an ultra quiet control room. Kitchen of Sound Studio. I love the name. Good evening, Uncle Dave. Good evening. I was listening to you while driving back on the way. Oh, cool. Thanks for all your hard work. Community that we build is pretty awesome. What's up, audio nerds? Well, thank you so much, man. Thank you for being part of the community. I really appreciate you being here. And I'm glad that the channel helps you in some small way. Or the sound of my voice helps your long drive. So you can yell at me through the radio, right? And yell at all my stuff and tell me how wrong I am. Johnny has a great show. Yes, he does. Hey, John Doe, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Hey, Jimmy, looking forward to the Mixing Academy. Yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a bit before we get started, Jimmy, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to try. If I get enough people interested, we're going to do it. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it'd be something really cool that if we could do it for a while, that between myself and especially the first group that goes through it to help with your ideas and how we can make it better and better and better for future groups. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to try to make it like something no one's seen before, you know, in the traditional way of training and mixing. I really want to try to do more higher level conceptual thinking, mixing, like the 3D soundstage and some of those little things. And I always say to people, yeah, we could get a mix to sound good. Yeah, of course it's going to sound good. That's a given. But how do we get a mix that feels good? Right? There's a difference between a mix that sonically sounds good and a mix that feels good or feels right. That's a little bit of a different animal. And you spend your whole life chasing that to try to get better at that. And that's something that's no one really talks about when you see training, especially on YouTube. Really, because most of the people that put out those kinds of, most of those people are not even engineers. They play engineers on YouTube, which is fine, by the way. But the cats that really know what they're doing, they know what that is. And I want to try to shed some light on that in the academy. That's what I really want to talk about, those kinds of things and how I understand it, how I do it, and how it was taught to me. And then learn from all of you. So it's going to be a very collaborative thing. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope we get enough people that are interested in doing the academy that it makes sense to do. So we're going to see. So again, everyone check it out. I'll put the link in the description box here. Go check it out. And get your name on the waiting list. After you watch the video and you read the information, if it's something you feel like you're into, get your name on the list. And you'll hear from me directly when we're ready. Will the Arteria Audio Fuse 16 rig USB interface work with Studio One? I would imagine so, but I have no experience with that rig at all, so I have no idea. But yeah, I don't know any audio interface that won't work with Studio One. So if it's just a USB audio interface, anybody's audio interface, it should work. But that particular one, I don't know because I've never used it. But I can't imagine that it wouldn't. Unless there's something really weird about that thing that's different, but I doubt it. For me, it was about learning how to create the 3D soundstage that changed everything for me. Cool. Mixing became fun. The academy sounds cool. Cool. Yeah. You're going to learn more than just that too, by the way. But yeah, come check it out. Come check out the academy, man. Am I down at the end of the chat already? This is great. Okay, so make sure you go to Home Recording Made Easy, get your 50% off Mixing Made Easy Volume 4. Do that. If you already got that, make sure you if you've never been to the website before, there's a free mixing course right on the homepage. You could download that for free. Don't have to buy anything. It's more of a beginner's course, but it's something that if you want to just take one of my courses and see what it's all about, you could take that free one, and then you'll be part of my ecosystem. You'll be on my email list. And then when new courses come out and new discounts and special deals and things that I don't give to the general public, you'll be the first ones to know. So you always want to be a part of that. So go check that out. And again, check out themixingacademy.net. Again, if you're someone who's more serious into mixing, you have, 3 years experience plus, and you got the basics down and you're looking to take the next step, that's really who the Academy's for. But you can check that out as well. And yeah, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and all those fun things. So, do we have any other questions before we head out of here? Again, more videos coming. Tomorrow you'll see the video for the install of the flock. At Home Recording Made Easy, you will see a video about, on Friday, what's it about? I think it's about one of the desktop SSL audio interfaces, some sound examples. I think that's coming out Friday. And then I have a couple of videos coming out talking about my favorite Waves plugins, my favorite Universal Audio plugins. That's coming out soon. A Mixing Music Analog. We got the flock stuff. We got a couple of videos about the flock. I did a whole video just on the app itself. That's coming soon. We're going to be doing videos for the Bus Plus. That's coming soon. I'm going to get back into doing some more POV mixing and giving you guys some free multi-tracks. That's coming soon. So there's a lot of stuff coming here over the next several months. So make sure you are liked and shared and subscribed up the yin yang, because that's the only way you're going to learn about what I got going on. So is there any other questions? Going once, going twice? If there's not, then I'm going to head out. I want to thank you guys so much again, pardon me, for joining me tonight and for supporting everything I do. If you ever have any questions, you can hit me up at one of the websites. I'd be glad to help. If you ever need any private one-on-one coaching, I offer that too. Make sure you go to the websites and check out everything I have to offer, because I can help and train and give you support in multiple ways. All you got to do is go check out the website and contact me, and I'd be glad to work with you. And until the next live stream, which will probably be in another few weeks, thank you so much for joining me, everybody. And I will see you guys very, very soon. Good night, everybody.